Hello fellow gamers, welcome back to another episode of the Hunting Guide. You are here with Kelldal, and today we are going to be hunting Gigginox, or Gigginox. I don't know, however you want to pronounce it. Doesn't matter to me because I absolutely hate fighting this monster because it is a poison wyvern, and it has a slew of poison attacks, and as you may have heard from some of my previous videos, I absolutely hate poison. I think it's one of the most annoying statuses that you can get. It does quite a bit of damage, especially at high ranks. The poison is quite potent and can be quite annoying on top of all of its other attacks that it does. So because of that, I am bringing with me plenty of antidotes. I should get a couple extra ones in the mission, so I'm only going to bring 8 with me, and I should get 2 more in the box, I believe, as well. So that's what I'm going to be bringing with me. I'm using fire weapons, my Rathalos armor, which is a little bit overpowered at this point in the game. You probably won't have this armor set yet, especially as upgraded as I have it. But you know what? I hate Gigginox, and I want my cold cancel on there so I don't have to worry about having my warm drinks with me. So let's go ahead and head on over to the Tundra and fight Gigginox. Alright, back at the Tundra. And as I mentioned before, you do get 2 antidotes to help you with that. You also get 2 hot drinks as well. So if you do need to have those hot drinks with you, just bring 3 of them with you. And that's all you'll need. It also gives you some bounce bombs, which you can use. Gigginox likes to be on the ceiling sometimes, so you can use that to hit them up there. I don't use them as much because it is very hard to aim with them. With the fuse and set time and stuff like that, and he moves around quite a lot. So you could be sitting up there setting up those bounce bombs, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a poison attack. So I usually avoid using them altogether. Alright, so there's Gigginox hanging out there on the ceiling. Really funky looking wyvern. So he does have wings, so he does have the ability to fly, but he usually ends up crawling around on the ceiling or the floor like that. And he can do attacks from both the walls, the ceiling, the ground, and there are some of his poison attacks. As you can see, he's got this poisonous cloud that he can set up. And here is his egg laying ability. So he has 2 types of eggs that he can lay. So right here, this one is an egg that you can attack and destroy. It spawns little tiny giggies, and so you can end up getting that. And now I'm poisoned. So he can do that kind of backward lunge attack and launch himself backwards with that poison cloud out front, and then he can also launch the poison out front. And the other thing that you kind of note is it's kind of hard to tell the difference between his head and his tail. They look almost identical. So right now, that's his head right there I'm next to right there. And it can spread out and go pretty far and stretch out and stuff like that. Alright, so again, he laid another one of those eggs. So I don't want to have all these little tiny giggies all around. So I'm going to go ahead and destroy that. Get out of the way of that poison attack there. And charge up my weapon here. Alright. So to tell the difference between his head and his tail, you mostly want to look at his wings. So you can see where his kind of little front hand claws are, and then his back legs. So keep an eye out for that, and then you can tell the difference between them. Another thing to note is, unlike most other wyverns, you cannot cut off his tail. You can break it, but you can't cut it off like you do with other wyverns. So don't bother, trying to sit there and cut off the tail over and over again, and you're just sitting there and not doing enough damage or anything like that. No, it's just not possible. So he's doing some poison attacks from the ceiling there. He can fire off 3 consecutive ones. You want to keep an eye on him quite a lot, because as you can see, he does that kind of slam down, and he can actually do it pretty far away. And looks like he's entering in rage mode, so he actually kind of hardens his skin almost. And you'll notice my weapon will bounce off of him a lot more. Alright, so now I want to back away. So if you notice there, that egg that he laid, it's much faster time that he lays it. He spends a lot more time laying the Gigi spawning one. But if he spawns that one and you're caught next to it, it explodes in poison cloud. So keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for that as well. It's also a pretty fast poison attack. You'll notice a little poison cloud that was at his belly there, and then he kind of emits it from pores all over his body, and it can be really hard to dodge, especially if you're in the middle of sitting there trying to attack him. Alright, looks like he's going to be spitting poison around, so I'm just going to back off from him, wait for him to come back down. So he does have the ability to suck players up and basically eat them, recovers some stamina, does some damage to you. And so you can get out by struggling yourself or having other players damage him. And then you can also use dung bombs, which I didn't bring with me because obviously I am playing solo right now, so I don't really need them. But if you want to keep an eye out for that, maybe you're playing with some folks, I'm going to get poisoned again here, and you want to help them out, bring some dung bombs with you. You probably won't need to use them all that much, but if they get caught, you can end up saving them a little bit. Alright. Looks like he's moving zones now. So a lot of times when he moves zones, he'll move on the ceiling like that, move to another area. Wait for him to come back down. Looks like he's out of his rage mode. Get out of that body slam there. So when he does that body slam, it's kind of hard to avoid it. So what I usually do is I dodge in between his wings there. So it's a good spot to do that. So he's just kind of sitting here. He's running out of low stamina, so I'm going to get some nice hits on his head here. That's where you're going to be doing pretty much the most damage, is his head and his belly. So obviously some, a little more dangerous places to be. Alright, looks like I broke his belly there. He kind of flinched a little bit. It dropped a shiny and stopped him from laying that egg. And there he is limping. So it's kind of hard to see because he is on the ceiling. But you can kind of hear a little difference in his sounds when he's moving along like that. So keep that in mind as well if you're trying to capture him and you're looking for that limp. So as you can see, I've already used half of my antidotes during this fight. Getting to the end here, but definitely one of the monsters that uses poison the most. Alright, so I broke his head there, right at the end. So you saw that little break there. And you can go get your body cards. And that is Gigginox. So again, use 7 of my 10 antidotes. So bring plenty of them with you, because if you're sitting there waiting out all that poison damage, it is going to make the fight take forever and make it much harder on you. You're going to go through your potions like nothing. So keep that in mind. If you got Cha-Cha and Kayamba with you, give them the antidote dance. And plenty of healing dances, because that definitely helps as well, especially if you run out of antidotes. And then just keep an eye out for that purple poison to try and dodge out of the way. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed watching, and we will catch you on the next hunt. See you later.